One person stabbed at the Once Upon a Time LA Music Festival, which is taking place at Bank of California Stadium. The victim was taken to a hospital in unknown condition. The stabbing took place at about 8:40 last night, where there was already a large police presence due to that event. Dozens of hip-hop artists, including Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, The Game, 50 Cent, are performing at that festival. There are unconfirmed social media reports as well, claiming that the victim of the stabbing was a performer. Arlington National Cemetery welcomed thousands of volunteers on Saturday to participate in Wreaths Across America, a somber and beautiful holiday tradition of laying wreaths at the graves of service members. Volunteers streamed into the cemetery and quickly dotted the sea of white headstones with holiday wreaths. A line of intense Saturday morning storms uprooted trees, scattered debris, and even took out power lines in Montgomery County, Texas. The National Weather Service later confirmed a tornado hit the northeastern parts of that county after conducting a storm survey. They said the tornado has been given a preliminary rating of an EF1. Fortunately, no one was injured.
And we were sitting in the living room, and then all of a sudden, boom, this huge explosion. And we kind of looked at each other. You don't have time to react. I always think, well, you should have a plan and all that. You don't have time.
All right. In Minnesota, a former police officer took the stand in her own defense, recalling the moments she used deadly force against Daunte Wright during a traffic stop. Here's more from that trial on Friday, which is also set to resume on Monday.
I'm so sorry.
Kim Potter sobbed as she described what happened at the traffic stop that ended with Daunte Wright's death.
I remember yelling, "Taser, taser, taser," and nothing happened. And then he told me I shot him.
Potter's defense insists she made a deadly mistake.
I just shot him.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Pulling her Glock pistol when she thought she was grabbing a taser, and then firing a single bullet into Wright's chest. The defense says Wright was resisting arrest and about to drive off, and Potter had to do something to protect the other two officers involved. Under cross-examination, Potter broke down when the prosecution asked why she didn't try to help either Wright or the other officers after the shooting.
You didn't run down the street and try to save Daunte Wright's life, did you?
No.
You were focused on what you had done, because you had just killed somebody.
I'm sorry it happened. Oh, my God.
Body camera video captured Potter's reaction in the moments after the shooting. She was grilled about her extensive training on firearms and tasers over the 26 years she was an officer.
You would have had taser training year after year for at least the last 19 years, right?
Yes.
And the prosecutor tried to poke holes into the defense case that Potter was justified with using deadly force.
You didn't plan to use deadly force that day, did you?
No.
Because you knew that deadly force was unreasonable and unwarranted in those circumstances.
I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Potter testified that she never fired her weapon or used her taser during her nearly 3 decades on the force. The jury will hear closing arguments on Monday. Jennifer Merrily, CBS News, Minneapolis.
And speaking of testifying, there was a rare occurrence on the Capitol Hill. The CEOs of the 4 largest U.S. airlines testified together. That hasn't happened in years. The occasion included Southwest CEO Gary Kelly, who they say appeared maskless. Later, he tested positive for COVID. Here's Chris Van Cleve.
A rare sight on Capitol Hill, the CEOs of American, Southwest, and United, as well as a senior executive from Delta, sitting side by side as senators fired questions.
Will we ever be able to get on an airplane without masks?
I think the case is very strong that masks don't add much.
After the hearing, Southwest CEO Gary Kelly then tested positive for COVID, despite being fully vaccinated and boosted.
I'm shocked that some of the CEOs here today have suggested that we no longer need mask mandates on planes. Do you believe that we should be lifting the mask mandate?
We agree that it should continue to stay in place. It's a workplace safety issue.
Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts hammered the execs over refunds for passengers who canceled their flights during the pandemic.
Will you refund that money? Yes or no?
We will give you a credit.
The passengers want the money back, and you're not saying you're going to give it to them. And at a minimum, they just want a voucher that they can use whenever they want to.
Stung by operational challenges that led to thousands of canceled flights, American and Southwest acknowledged the pandemic has made it harder to quickly recover from disruptions like severe weather.
We had this unforecasted situation in Dallas. It's very difficult to get people to essentially not really volunteer for work.
But Republicans focused on United's vaccine mandate. As for the rapidly approaching holidays,
you'll be back to near 2019 levels of travel. Can the airline industry handle that?
I think we are. We're getting back, and all the support services that we need, whether it's the TSA, FAA, staffing, fuel vendors, and look forward to clearer skies ahead.
The issue of disruptive passengers also came up. Those complaints have been off the charts. Flight attendants pleaded with senators to ban to-go alcohol at airports, saying about 60% of cases of disruptive passengers involve alcohol. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Washington.